Law school professors don't teach law students the law, in a clear, structured, methodical, easy to understand way so that people just starting out can actually understand and learn this stuff. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, but the countless comments my law students have told me over the years and my own personal experience in law school completely backs this up. And if you've been through law school, then you know how rare it is to find a professor who will actually teach you the law. So why is this the case? Well, in my years as a law school strategy coach, I've identified 3 reasons why I think it's the case that law school professors don't teach law students the law. And if you stick around to the end, you can hear my top 3 thoughts on how we can solve this problem. So if you're curious and ready to dive in, hit that like button and let's go. The first reason is that law school professors don't see it as their job to teach law students the law. They see it as their job to teach law students how to think. And so explaining the rules of law in a clear, structured, methodical way runs directly contrary to that purpose. And so if you just tell law students the rules of law, that robs them of the ability to think through the random, disconnected, piecemeal language that law school professors kind of sort of introduce in class. Reason number 2 is that there is no incentive for law school professors to teach law students the law. Not financially, not professionally, not personally. Whether a law student learns the law really well and goes on to pass the bar or not, or be a competent practicing attorney or not, in no way is connected back to that professor. And there is no financial incentive or professional promotion incentive to being a really good teacher to law students. And there's one really big component that actually disincentivizes law school professors from teaching the law students the law, and that is the curve. Because no matter how well law school professors teach the material, they have to give out the same number of grades every single year on the same curve. And so that curve being in existence actually disincentivizes law school professors from teaching law students the law in a clear, structured, methodical way. Because if all of the students in their class understand the material really well and understand very clearly how the professor would like them to apply it on a fact pattern in a final exam, that actually makes the law school professor's job harder. It actually makes it more difficult to grade on a curve because that curve is tighter, and it will make a much harder job for them to distinguish a B from a B plus, a B plus from an A minus, an A minus from an A, and an A from the highest grade in the class. The third reason is that law school professors are not hired to teach law students the law. They're hired because of the attention, visibility, and prestige they can bring to a law school. Now, I will admit, this is anecdotal, so if anyone has actually been through the law school professor hiring process, please let us know in the comments so that you can shed some light on this as well. But consistently, what is communicated is that law school professors' credentials and their publication record is what law schools are looking for. That is what gives that attention, visibility, and prestige to a law school. Whether a law school professor can teach a 1L doctrinal course well enough so that the 1L students actually understand the material is at the bottom of that evaluation list, if it's on the list at all. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. And yes, in law school, everybody has the occasional law school professor who is a really great teacher. I also did. My Civ Pro professor 1L year was fantastic. Shout out Professor Thornburg. But it definitely is the exception rather than the rule. So here are 3 things that I think we could change about the way that law school is taught that can remedy this problem. Number 1, have law school professors teach law students the law the way that a bar prep course teaches students the law, in a clear, methodical, structured way so that new law students can actually understand and learn this complex information rather than having it presented to them in a chaotic, disconnected, anecdotal, hypothetical, rhetorical way that forces them to rely on supplements and Google and ChatGPT to actually understand what the rules of law are. Number 2, eliminate the curve. The grading curve is an insane disincentive for law school professors to present the material in a disconnected, chaotic way, to use hide-the-ball tactics, to not communicate to their law students how they want a final exam answer written. It creates an environment that is sort of Lord of the Flies-esque, where only the naturally strong law students rise to the top and survive, which is a wild environment to create in a degree that is supposedly designed to teach people the law so that they can then go off and be competent, capable attorneys. Number 3, hire law school professors who can teach or teach them how to teach. And I'm guessing this is going to be the hardest one to change because I think law school professor hiring is very interconnected with funding, with publications, with prestige. But it's important to at least verbalize that just because you went through law school doesn't mean you're qualified to teach law students, just like because you went through third grade doesn't mean you're qualified to teach third graders. And so at the very least, the step number 1 of this would be acknowledging that this is even an issue. So what do you guys think? Was that too harsh? Did I go too easy on them? I am so curious about what your experience has been with your law school professors. Good, bad, middle of the road. Let me know in the comments section below. I'm so excited to find out. And for those of you guys heading into law school with no idea how to navigate 1L year and the crazy law school professor situation, definitely click here so you can check out how I love to coach 1Ls during your first semester of law school together. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one.